Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Friday, September 8th, and this is your favorite HVAC vlog, brought to you and sponsored by New Calgon. So this was a short week this week with Labor Day on Monday, and an even shorter week for me because I spent one day this week in the office just getting on top of my bookkeeping and government remittances and all that fun stuff. But that day wasn't all lost because I did attend a compressor training that evening, which I'll tell you all about later. So yeah, are you ready for some HVAC adventures? Let's go. All right, so one of the stories I have for you this week is kind of long-winded, but it's a liquor store that we work at. We actually do the HVAC there and not the refrigeration until this week, where they called us for their beer and wine cooler that wasn't working. When we arrived, we found the evaporator coil completely frozen over. It was a solid block of ice. And we've actually seen that before. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, we were at a Greek restaurant and their evaporator coil was also completely frosted over. And we had the same thing there. The fault was traced back to the defrost. So at the Greek place, they've got a defrost timer, like a specific dedicated defrost timer. But at the liquor store here, it's done in the digital controller. So we were trying to make that work. The controller seems to be faulty. Usually, if it's a smallish evaporator, we'll sit there and we'll de-ice it. We'll use hot water or a heat gun. But because the fridge is so large, this beer and wine cooler, it's so large, and we had other jobs planned that day, so we couldn't sit there and thaw it out, unfortunately. So what we did was we turned off the cooling, we kept the fans running, and let it thaw overnight, which was kind of a bit of a problem because it caused a leak. They've got these two condensate pumps in the back where their storage is. They're on the floor and they're just in a place where if the staff move their beer and stuff in that storage area, they just kind of shove those condensate pumps. So the pipe coming out of the condensate pipe coming out of the unit is pushed out of the pump. So it's trickling onto the floor instead of into the pump, which is silly. And then the setup there is that the condensate pump pumps into another drain pan on the floor. That's a heated drain pan. The water level will hit the float will turn on the heating element, and it evaporates slowly. When we went back the next day, it had thawed out completely and there was definitely a leak. I spent some time cleaning the two condensate pumps. One was so gross, snotty, it's so gross. And the other one, it was so bone dry. So in order to change the controller, just because of where these condensing units are situated, Trevor had to like sit on top of the shelving systems while he was like... Hey Trev, you comfy?
What's that?
Are you comfy up there?
It's not too bad.
Looks funny with your feet dangling off the... Anyway, it was very difficult, very uncomfortable, but he is a trooper and he got it done. So now we've programmed the controller to do a defrost twice a day for 15 minutes. We also worked on a walk-in freezer. And usually when we're working on those freezers, we have the system turned off. So it is cold in there when we go in, but nothing is blowing on you. But this freezer had another head, another evaporator coil on it, like literally blowing right onto us. We were changing these two motors. Oh my gosh, it was so cold. It was minus 22 degrees in there. Eventually we were like, you know what, we're just gonna turn this down. We're gonna turn those other fans off so it's not blasting on us. It was painfully cold. Anyway, they've got a system there that is really old. It's a 1998 system, and 2 evaporator fans died on it, which is interesting. They usually don't go together at the same time. It's one and one and one. But anyway, we had 2 there. Because the system is so old, the fan motors are obsolete. So one of our representatives at our suppliers, he was having a bit of a hard time finding the replacements for them. And so he gave us these 2 motors, and my dad he's just like, I don't know, I just have a weird feeling about these motors. So he had me ask a different representative at that same supplier, just like start again, like I just need these 2 motors. And so that guy, immediately when he saw the model number, he made a phone call and he was like, oh yeah, you just need these 2 motors. Completely different to the 2 that we got from the other guy. So we drove all the way out there. It's like a 1.5 hour drive out to Chilliwack. So we took 2 of both motors to see which one worked. And it was actually the second guy who made the phone call that gave us the correct motors.
Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind. Get on board. We're soaring on top of
Even though they were the correct motors, we still had to drill out the holes a little bit more because it didn't fit. And we also had to angle grind the shaft off. We had this super quick service call to a place where they had a water leak, and all it was a little fitting that had come loose a little bit, so all we did was tighten the fitting. But in their bathroom, they've got one of those hand washing signs So you know during COVID where everyone was putting up hand washing signs and you had to sing happy birthday twice or whatever song twice? Well, I think you can go to this website and you can put in whatever song you want and it spits out the hand washing instructions with this song. And you guys, they have the thong song and it's so funny. We worked on 2 printer chillers this week. One of them it was overheating and it had some alarms on it. So when we checked that out, there's a little paddle flow switch. It's got this paddle on it, and every time it gets pushed by the flow, it sends a signal. And that little paddle just wasn't working. So we've had them order a new one, and we'll replace that flow switch when it comes. And the second chiller, it was at the same location, but a completely different kind of chiller. It was in their label making department. When we took out the filter, I was so surprised at all of the rust, like particles and debris inside the filter pleats.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
The equipment there is really cool. I took a quick sneaky video for you guys. So it's got all these little sections of machines, and each one is a different color. So I guess the label, they go through each one, and as it goes, it just adds a layer of color onto where it has to go. I don't know, I'm not a printer. Anyway, so as it rolls through, it's got these rollers and a UV light, I guess, to cure the ink. And so the rollers have water that is cooled and keeps it cool and keeps it from overheating. And that is the most technical way I'm going to tell you about the printer chiller, or not the printer chiller, but the printer machine. The compressor training that I went to was so good. It was for Carlisle compressors, which are found in carrier units. They had about 2.5 hours of lecture in this classroom type thing presentation
And the small one is 2.3.
Yeah, you might as well.
where you learn about the compressors and you learn about some failures and how it can fail and why it fails. And then we went into the warehouse and we were able to actually tear down a compressor, which is so cool. They had about maybe 10 compressors. And we were groups of 2 or 3. And we took the compressor completely apart.
Oh, and then you can actually see it. Probably because it's probably getting cooling from this one.
You can see that wall.
That's the thinnest spot in there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Pressure's on.
You can't go to the middle. It's got to be to the outside.
Oh, yeah.
So just if you can't, jerk it in and out and outside to side. There you go. It's got a few pounds to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, now I know where you're at.
What a cool experience, A, to be able to take that compressor apart. A lot of us don't have that opportunity in the field. Luckily, I have with a different compressor, a different manufacturer, but a lot of people don't get that opportunity. So being able to do that, going through that experience, but then afterwards being able to go around to each of the stations and seeing the damage and the different kinds of trouble that each of these compressors have had.
Wiping the crap off, you can start to see the coppering in there a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we have a discharge valve that's busted up here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, you got the fun one. Right? We didn't see anything except for like
Yours locked up? Yours locked? Turn it.
So our compressor, the compressor that I worked on specifically, had copper plating problems, which is a moisture issue. There was another one with a completely broken crankshaft. There was another one that had a burnout in the motor. You can see exactly the spot where it burnt, and it was so cool. It was a very cool experience. I was the only girl in the room again, which is typical. It used to bother me quite a lot. I used to be quite self-conscious about it. But the training this week, I felt like I belonged there. I felt like just one of the guys. And I don't know if it's because I am a little bit more advanced now. Like, I'm not so green, so deer in the headlights during the presentations. I can actually understand, maybe even ask us like a genuine question. So yeah, I don't know if it's that or if there's been a shift in the industry that we're just maybe unaware of, or like, I don't know. I just felt very welcome. I felt like one of the guys. And so I'm going to put this message on Instagram as well, because I think it's an important one. If you are a woman in HVAC or going into HVAC or in the industry at all, you know what, not even a woman, just a person, attend every and all of the supplier trainings that you can, that you're able to. They're usually free and they're usually after hours. They're not during work hours. So yeah, take advantage of those, because I think I learn something every single time I go there. I will be honest, a lot of the information flies right over me and it's just like an information overload. But every time I still pick up at least 1 or 2 points that I'll remember. And so I'm building on that every time I go. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the last guy saying the exact same thing. Or yeah, so that's my piece of advice. Attend every single supplier training that you can, regardless of your level, especially if you're starting out. But I think regardless of your level, because we can always learn something from the instructor and also from the people in the room. They're all out there in the field. They see different things, they talk about it, and you learn a lot. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today, this week. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. Thank you to Nukalgan, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, hopefully on some new adventures. Bye. Really? How loud can you be?